So tell me about some of the people we had working with us at that time. You've sold basically the WD part of the business. You're moving into the manufacturing more. Did you get a new building? Who's your salespeople? Who are you working with?
Good question. Once we hit the 1980 era where we started making our own wire and so on like that, we needed to find sales reps to make contact with distribution. Even though we had the major fleets in the late 70s, when deregulation hit, we needed to get out to the masses. And the only way you can do that is through rep agencies. So we started contacting agencies that we heard of and getting recommendations and filtering them down to a situation where our chemistry was close to being the same. The people we liked, they had the same attitude we had, and we developed it and we trained them on it. And they did a great job for us. They did a very good job for us. But so we got some great ones. We had some very good ones.
Yeah, we did. And I worked with quite a few of them.
Yeah.
What about internally? You still doing a lot of the sales? Or are you managing the company day to day? Who are our salespeople? We started adding engineering people, that type of thing?
In the mid-70s, we were now starting to make sales and be significant. And so then we needed to have a full-time salesman to handle our sales. Mark Clark came over from Signalstat. And he's with us about 4 years. Did a fabulous job. And then decided he wanted to be a rep. And we said, okay, fine. Anyway, he started his own agency up and just did a phenomenal job. We had to replace him. And so I said, who can we get? So we called up John Callis and found out he had left the agency, headhunting agency, called up, Rick and I went out to see him. And we said, John, we need a sales manager, explained what the job was and so on like that. Do you know anybody? John said, yeah, I got the perfect guy for you. We said, oh, great, who? He said, me. You? Me. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, because he was a flamboyant type guy, but we got along fine, and so John joined us. Rick Neal had joined me in 1970. He and I went to high school together, grammar school, and then high school together. So, but when Rick came in, he took over the sales, after a year with us, he took over the sales management position. So we grew from that point. And so that was Rick Neal.
Okay. Tell me about our electrical harness division. When did we get into making harnesses, and what was the history of that a little bit?
Well, that's like having the back door slam as you run out of the house when you're a kid. We had been supplying utility trailer with wire and cable. This is 1990, I think it was, 89, 90, 91. And I got a phone call from Jack Follett, their purchasing guy, and said, hey, listen, we're going to have harnesses made from a guy called Nationwide Electrical Wiring down in Dallas, and would you supply them with the same cable that you're supplying us now at the same price? He said, sure, it's not an issue. And everything's going fine for a year or two. And all of a sudden we realized then that we're not getting paid on time, and things that get stretched out further and further. And you know my philosophy about that: the sale's never complete until it's paid for.
Right.
We talked to the owners of Nationwide at the time, and I said, help them get their books straightened out, get them so they can get their purchasing taken care of. We can get paid. Their vendors are paid. Everything that works out for their benefit and our benefit. Went down there and spent most of the week and went through the books and straightened them out, got them going the right direction, came back and he said, we're going to get paid, everything's going to be fine, and we did get paid for about 6 months. So we worked out a deal with them and said, listen, why don't we take the equity in your company, what you owe us, and apply it, what you owe us, to apply it to the equity of the company, and then we will call that a loan, and you guys can pay us back as you go forward. So we went down there and started going through the assets and so on like that. and all of a sudden realized that we had more equity in the company than they did, which means they were virtually bankrupt. So our objective was not to be a harness manufacturer. The objective was to be just a good supplier to the industry. We talked to them about it, and we finally said, okay, well, let's buy your company, and we'll help you through this thing, and you can buy it back from us. Okay, fine. Well, then we did that, and then the owner, I won't say his name, but owner started sabotaging us. So anyway, we ended up with more equity in the company than they had, and the company became ours. But one of the real successes we had is a funny success, was with a Great Dane trailer. We had been calling on Great Dane and knew them with our plugs and sockets and our socket breakers and nose boxes and so on like that. So when we acquired the nationwide electrical wiring, we dropped to the Phillips harnesses, or changed it into Phillips harnesses and electrical harness division. But we were calling on a new buyer had just come into Great Dane and met him at one of the TTMA meetings, and hit it off with him very well, and just also became instant friends. Started talking about harnesses, and they were buying it from a competitor, but they weren't getting good service like they were expecting, and like this fellow Bob Juno had. And called me up one day and said, I'd like to come out and see your plant, or number one, can you ship on time? Can you do this on time? And I said, of course we can. Going back, of course. Sure. And so he came out. He said, think you can handle the business of Great Dane? I said, well, of course we can. He said, okay, you got it. Are you kidding me? You got it. Holy God, this is incredible. So I mean, it was good times. And so he needed some things built for J.B. Hunt. And then that's how we got that business. So that was a big shot in the arm. So now we had not only a utility trailer, we had Great Dane, plus a lot of other smaller trailer manufacturers at that point. So, and we grew from that point. But not all was rosy. As time goes on, we brought in the managers that helped the production and so on. We had our ups and downs, but in the long run, it was about 2003 or 2004. Labor was becoming very tough in Dallas, and we had a hard time getting good labor and good quality labor. So Freightliner came to us and said they were getting ready to build a new plant down in Saltillo, Mexico, and would like to have their vendors, their better vendors, follow them down there so they could be a just-in-time supplier to them. And I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. So I got with Rob and I got with Michael Wittenberg and said, here's what they want to do. I think we should do something with that. So they went down and took a look at it, talked to people. We called Freightliner and coordinated with them, put together a program. That started the Saltillo plant, and it's gone very well since that point. And we've not only won a lot more business around the U.S. and around the world. We do some in South America, do a lot in Canada, a lot, of course, in North America and the United States, and we were supplying products or harnesses to China, so that worked out very well for us. So
that's great.
Yeah.
They say behind every successful man, there's a great woman.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, it's amazing, but you're right. And so without having someone like Lexi, I would be struggling.
Did you bring up Patty Peterson?
Oh, Patty is the heartbeat of this company.